I was reading through the Magnificat this week, and I had a powerful reflection for this weekend's gospel. It's from Anne Voskamp. Anne, I've spoken about before, wrote a book called 1000 Blessings, where she was challenged to write down 1,000 different things that she was thankful for. And over the course of the months that she did this, it changed her heart from being one of focused on all the bad things in her life to starting to recognize God's finger more powerfully moving in her life, the good things that God was continually pouring out upon her. It really changed her whole perspective. Well, the reflection was from her today as well. And she talks about how she was in a doctor's office and this woman had asked to borrow a pen, and it started a conversation. She finds out this woman has cancer. And then this woman says to her, "You know what? Dr. Reed said the last time I was in here that in our human bodies, the cells that only benefit themselves are known as cancer." It's like the whole waiting room had gone dead quiet. I think about that a lot. The cells that only benefit themselves are known as cancer. She pats her bag. "Thank you again for the pen, dear." I swallow and falter. I can't hear anything but the ringing of her words. How had I never known that cancer is the cells that only take for themselves? Cancer is what refuses to die to self. This word struck me so deeply, thinking about my own selfishness, my own self-centeredness, and the cancer that is to my soul. Selfishness, it's that cancer. It only takes for self. And it kills us. But what does our culture tell us? Our culture tells us, seek after yourself. Take care of number one. Make sure that that's what you're focused on. All you have to do is watch a movie or a TV show or any of the ads in between. If anybody still watches commercials, right? You just kind of skip over them after you've TiVoed it or whatever people use today. I don't know. I don't have a television. But, you're not going to be happy unless you use our Rinsolv dish soap. And you've got all this grease on these pots and one drop of Rinsolv, and that takes care of everything. Now, of course, that takes care of everything because it was all just food coloring in the water anyways. But that's okay. It takes care of it. And then you can be happy if you make sure you take care of yourself and grab and take. And what happens? The culture teaches us, seek after number one. Grab hold. But the thing is, the more we grab hold, the more we lose. Everything that is not given away is lost. Jesus tells us today that the Gentiles lord it over their peoples, but it shall not be so with you. Rather, whoever wishes to be great among you will be your servant. Whoever wishes to be first among you will be the slave of all. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many. As I read through this, as I pondered over this over the past week, it really struck me. All those areas of selfishness in my life. All those areas where I've turned in on myself. All those areas where I take instead of give. All those areas where I die instead of live. Cancer is the cells that only take for themselves. Cancer is what refuses to die to self. This could leave us feeling rather down and discouraged as we look at all the areas of our lives where we've allowed that cancer of selfishness and egoism to enter in. But there's always hope. There's always the good news. And the good news, Jesus has a plan for this. Jesus knows where we are, and He wants to help to draw us out. He wants to take care of that cancer that is in our souls. And that is done by the divine radiation of His love. And how do we enter into that divine radiation of His love? Well, there are lots of ways, but the most powerful way is through adoration, where we come into the presence of the divine, and He comes and pierces through those cancer cells of our soul which refuse to die to self. I encourage you, spend time before our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament. Every Wednesday we have adoration in the morning, for an hour in the morning, and then throughout the afternoon and into the evening. We have adoration before daily Mass each day. And I know people are busy, so maybe you can't do that. You have work, you have other things. But you know what? This back door is unlocked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to come into the chapel and spend time before our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament. You see, when we bring our selfishness there, before our Lord, one of the things is going to have to go. Either Jesus or that selfishness. And if we keep coming before Him, He will drive out those things that bring death. That selfishness, that egoism. So my brothers and sisters, I encourage you, spend time before our Lord. He will teach us how to die to ourselves, so no longer have that cancer of death in our souls, but to have true life.